are ready to go. And so now, New York, help me make some noise for the first time today. Give it up to your casters, Lando and Study.
Thank you so much, everybody. Yes, indeed, the final match of the day, and it is a spicy one, my man. Florida Mutineers trying to hold on to that top 8 spot. Atlanta FaZe trying to hold on to some pride.
Oh, this is a big match. Obviously, more important for Florida to keep their champs' dreams alive. I'm pretty sure even if they lose this one, if NYSL do not win a match tomorrow, they will still be in that 8th spot. So a lot on the line for Florida. But if you're them, you want to try to control your own destiny. Absolutely. For me, the big thing that the devs talked about was that map #1. That's going to be so important in this series because if you are Florida, 7-game win streak on that map, but going up against Atlanta, you know they're not easy to take down. That map #1, if they fall short there, then have to beat Atlanta FaZe in Search and Destroy, where they have been looking so strong in this stage. It's not going to be easy.
I think on top of anything, right, it's not just the game 1 hardpoint, but it's also just the momentum as well that Atlanta FaZe are starting to carry throughout this elimination bracket. A game 5 win versus Paris, and then a very, very dominant 3-0 versus LAG on top of one of the faster rounds of control that we've seen in COD history just yesterday. So again, it is all about that game 1, as you said, partner. And my goodness, Florida, I think Belly touched on the desk, and it really starts to set in, could be their very final series of the season if they lose this versus Atlanta and New York continue on their spree. But here we go, into Gavutu hardpoint. And I'll tell you what, it was pretty interesting to hear the New York crowd get behind Atlanta, but obviously it makes sense.
I felt like I haven't heard Atlanta get some cheers all year long. Obviously, everyone in the crowd needs Atlanta FaZe to win this, so Florida do not have a chance, or at least minimize their chance at making it to champs. But touch on this map, #1, Florida are #1 in rotation win percentage, but 11th in break, going up against Atlanta, who are 9th in rotation and 4th in break. We know the money hill for Atlanta is going to be that P4. But it's all going to start now. Florida needs some early momentum. It's a P1.
They do indeed. TwoReal able to strike early as Florida Mutineers battle it out here at P1. As we said, a huge game for them. And as the desk has touched on it, Jay agrees with it as well. A must-win if you are the Mutineers, and they're coming out the best way possible. Arcitys able to flank on through a quick little break out of Atlanta.
Atlanta FaZe able to set up that pinch, execute the break, now get some good time. Take the lead right in this game, and look how aggressive aBeZy is on the map. So far pushed out towards that field side. You're forcing all of Florida to just flood up middle steps, and Arcitys, the cutoff man, he at least finds the first, puts some shots into Awakening, but now Cellium turns to strike.
Yeah, normally when we talk about, COD maps historically, P1's not the greatest, but on Gavutu and really on the majority of maps in this game, in this title, you gotta fight for those points as the final few begin to come on in. It is a solid run from Atlanta FaZe off of that initial break. And TwoReal, a guy that we're going to talk about throughout a lot of this series, but especially in this Gavutu, needing to go off, needing to have a solid performance, trying to hold off toward the cliff. He gets broken down, and there goes another member of the Mutineers.
That's a clean break from Atlanta. Once they find that kill onto TwoReal, Cellium on the opposite side was causing problems towards green. He finds himself on a 5 spree, and now it makes his job a little bit easier off that rotation towards P3, but aBeZy finds that kill. 30 seconds remaining on ship. Florida, you're probably going to have to cut your losses here and make sure you have those spawns for P3.
And you get a 1 in 10 combined for 2 members of the Mutineers, Major Maniac and TwoReal. They've got to get something going. And we can just point it out. I mean, one gunfight in particular, TwoReal doesn't win that, and the rest of Atlanta FaZe begin to flood on through. Cellium, recognizing how important his life is, eventually does drop. That flawless streak will come to a close, and hopefully for the Mutineers, their run can start to begin. Set up and ready at beach, and clearing out some players in the backside of the spawns as well.
Has to start right here for Florida because we know that next hill, Atlanta FaZe are the best team at P4 so far. A lot of map control right now for Florida, pushed out towards top ring. Trades do come in, but Awakening does come out on top. There's still pressure from Atlanta FaZe though, pushing towards the back. Arcitys can't win the gunfight out the skies, but the spawns are starting to flip. They're spawning close screen, and they're ready for this pinch.
They are indeed. Atlanta could work out quite nicely for them. Awakening continues to go on the spree. Atlanta hot and heavy out of the spawns, recognizing the advantage that they've been given. aBeZy fires on through, greeted by a nade. Time still going the way of the Mutineers. Why? Because TwoReal is still locking this thing down. Nades tossed everywhere, and TwoReal eventually does get taken down inside of the point. And while it wasn't the cleanest of ins toward this hill for the Mutineers, you can at least be happy that you've got that next spawn towards your back.
Yeah, that's the good stuff for Florida right there. At least get themselves into this game with Simp with the pistol. Able to get this remaining junk time, but now it's all towards P4. It's going to be early setup for Florida. They have ship control. They're just forcing Atlanta FaZe to try to flood through that beach side, but they're going to wrap back, play for ship. 2Real is on a 3 spree, picks up the AR. He's the first cutoff man. But the overextension right there from Cellium, they take him down, and one player is actually able to slip through. aBeZy's going to be the guy to break it.
Yeah, I mean, we see a lot of the Mutineers players based around ship, and they're going to allow for Atlanta to start to sneak on back here. aBeZy and Simp combined for 2. Somebody's hiding out inside of the objective, and Skies cannot win that one either. A great little headshot comes on in, but however, it is a stun off a spawn that ends up leading us to a 1v1. Atlanta FaZe still with those close spawns, but Owakening for a moment was trying to lock this one down. Back and forth we go. Atlanta with a minor advantage.
Oh, that's a big kill right there from Major Maniac, not to let anyone slip through and potentially flip those spawns for Atlanta. They're able to find this remaining 15 seconds. They have full-on map control, and going into this P5, this is usually a hill where Florida do struggle. They only average about 15 points. They get broken a majority of the time. But with the map control that they currently have, you just have to stay pushed out. One of your gunfights and Owakening not slowing down.
We saw him have a phenomenal performance in that closeout control despite the loss. Hoping to be one of the biggest factors in this series. Cut down Atlanta, make them work for everything. As the Mutineers look to try to retake the lead. Skies with a big cutoff. Atlanta FaZe slowly but surely starting to peel away at the layers. They've got 3 players established toward the ship, inching their way ever closer, but aBeZy falls, Simp does too. And with that, Cellium has to slow down the push, wait for a few teammates off spawn. But it just feels like, Jake, this guy's a turret. He's taking players down no matter where he is on the map.
Yeah, Cellium, MVP form so far in this major, 1.35 overall KD. But Florida respond. The great P4 hold and a great P5 hold to take the lead. Now force Atlanta FaZe off the rotation, and look at where 2Real's going. 2Real's going to be the rotation man. He's going to be able to sneak his way all the way behind Atlanta, and I don't know if they're going to read this.
I'm not sure if they will either. He does fire out a few shots, but is able to connect. Cuts down Cellium thanks to the headshot, and Skies, I guess because of the heads turning out of Atlanta, the distraction works out perfectly for Florida. Owakening nearly had that one dead to rights, but he will set his teammates, well, up for success. Final man inside of the objective is going to be Skies. He sits on the 4 spree, so has to be careful of that spree. But the cards begin to fall away, the trades favoring Atlanta once more, and Simp starting to heat on up. Has got that AR in his hands, the pistol in the back pocket. Incredibly lethal with either. Atlanta break again and are ever closer to tying this game up.
Yeah, final 20 is going to be in favor of Atlanta FaZe, but off the rotation already is going to be Cellium. He finds a 2-piece. One player left is going to be Owakening. He spots him, gave him all 3, and he's able to flip those spawns. Now Florida, not on the better side, has to try to break this from Cliff, and Atlanta FaZe have everything cut off.
On aBeZy, he's up in their face. Eventually does fall, but Atlanta, with the lead change, now have got boat set up for them. It's going to all be onto this Mutineers attack, but Atlanta got them right where they want them as they can win it. Fight Cellium up close or far away. He can do it with any weapon in this game. Atlanta have got to be hyped. Let's step aside and go to a listening with FaZe.
Mike middle on me.
Okay,
Mike middle, one shot, weak. I'm staying down. I hear you. I'm seeing Mike. I'm
trying to look right. You're missing Mike.
One shot to hold. He's weak, no one shot. You're right behind you.
I want to face.
Nice.
Where's the Caesar, guys? One shot.
You're right. Okay.
Push out if you can, fella.
Okay.
You got one.
I have ring right now.
Go back. MC.
I want to switch. I don't think they push.
One top tower. Two middle.
Chris, I want to face. Tell me.
I'm nading new.
Yeah, I'm nading too. Another shot. Oh my god! I need him on you. I got needed. I'm gonna try to slide across. Okay. I'm trying to slide across.
Fast and fiery comms out of the Atlanta FaZe. Cellium still sitting on that 6 spree, but Jay, they've got so much time at the boat. Now they've got their spawns right where they want them. As soon as they break in at beach, this lead could start to break open that much more. Hill broken into and glide bomb earned as well.
And now this gets scary because Cellium was taking his time just to find that 7th kill. Earn himself this glide bomb. 30 seconds left on this P3. Florida have to force to try to break it from the front. You cannot allow Atlanta FaZe to get this much time. They're only going to be about 15 seconds out from closing this game. They have a glide bomb to work with, but it's all on Simp. Off the rotation, he's able to find the first, and that's going to be 3 dead. Florida still with those back spawns. Awakening at least there to take down Simp. Secures those spawns for Florida, but now, in the back of your mind, that glide bomb can come into play.
And that's something Florida are going to have to be prepared for. The glide could come in at any moment. Cellium looks to position himself just behind the tank. Calls it in. And the Mutineers look to scramble somewhat. Goes for the guaranteed kill onto 2Real. That's the opening that they've been waiting for. Awakening did find 1 kill in the meantime, so it is a straight 3-on-3, tagged up heavily. Inside of the boat is Awakening, still alive for a moment. He eventually hits the deck, 15 more points as MC's streak finally comes to a close. But take a look at those spawns. Because of what Atlanta FaZe do, they've got the more preferred positioning, and now they're within 10.
And that's the first time I've ever seen Atlanta FaZe attack that through the beach side. Play for those back spawns. They can end the game out right here. Cellium with 2, aBeZy with the 3rd. Atlanta FaZe are winning the trades.
They are indeed. They can absolutely win it here. Skies is going to have to be a hero, but unfortunately does get taken down. The kills continue to pile on, and Atlanta FaZe dominance would be the word that comes to mind on the second side of rotations from P1 to P4. Florida never stood a chance. Impressive, impressive stuff.
Like you said, my friend, it was all about that P1 on the second rotation. They were able to break in, get about 35 seconds there, and then off the rotation towards P2, they find a clean 4 dead, force all of Florida to continuously spawn at Cliff, and that's where Cellium was able to develop that streak. They get a full 60 on P2, and then when you're controlling the spawns for back P3, you take your time earning that glide bomb. They do not invest, they get the kills there, and then if you're Florida, they were just playing from the back foot. They usually are the #1 team in rotation win percentage on this map. But on the second half of this game, Atlanta FaZe won every single rotation to close out this map 1.
Yeah, I mean, that was just straight up dominant. And you just saw, right? I mean, the wheels were turning in the minds of Atlanta FaZe. They continued to build an advantage. I mean, I feel like it all started off with not just the P1 rotation, but when they got to P2, when they got to boat, I mean, you just saw, Florida were not winning the kills that they had to get out of the base. Everybody was playing their role to perfection if you're Atlanta. You got the AR set up, you got aBeZy trying to be aggressive toward Cliff, and that is just that slaying power that we have come to know that has become synonymous with Atlanta. I mean, honestly, ever since the CDL even formed, I mean, we know the talent that that trio possesses, and they've put it on full display. Like you said, on the second side of these rotations, just superb gameplay out of Atlanta. Keeping that momentum flowing has got to be one of the scarier things right now, really in the mentality of anybody who's a fan of Florida.
Especially because the way that they started off this tournament, when you're thinking about Atlanta FaZe as a roster, they have just been the most dominant team for the last 2 years. They haven't won a major this year, but they're sitting top in the CDL points. They're feeling really comfortable to have that #1 seed at champs. But take a look at our maps mode, that Berlin Search and Destroy. If you were Atlanta FaZe, they didn't really have to play any matches today. They showed up for the dead last one. So you got the chance to watch Florida versus NYSL on Berlin, the way that they like to play it. Atlanta FaZe on this map recently on a 5-game win spree. Florida, they need to try to answer here.
I want to ask you, I mean, what did you take away most from seeing Florida play on that Berlin Search Destroy? Things you want to see them improve on now heading into this game?
So early on, at least in their attacking rounds, they were super aggressive on their plants. And when they do that, that's when they found a lot of success. But when the game started to slow down, when you allowed NYSL to get multiple first bloods, and then even when it came down to that 1v1 situation, which eventually was a 1v3, Crim takes his sweet time versus Major Miniac, and that's a complete momentum changer. So if you are Florida Mutineers, you have to have that clutch gene in you. I'm definitely looking at 2Real, a very impactful player with that SMG in his hands in Search and Destroy. He can be the guy to try to shut down the Tiny Terrors.
And I want to give a huge shout out to our observers, by the way, because it felt like every time that we were seeing a crucial moment from 2Real, we got to watch it.
Yeah.
Like, it was like a matter of, we saw his impact on the map. Granted, an SMG on Gavutu isn't always going to make the biggest of plays, but every time he was getting kills, you saw what that did. Every time he was dying, you saw what that did. We talk about the guy often. And we talk about it with Florida all the time. SMG role is never going to be an easy one. You're facing off against Atlanta. But at the same time, excuses are over, right? This is your opportunity. And as we said, this is their potential last series of this title. That is one of the scariest things if you're a Florida player, Jay, is that if you lose this series, your destiny is no longer in your hands.
No longer in their hands. That's the biggest thing, because NYSL, like I said earlier, they can lose both matches yet tomorrow, and Florida can still make it in at that 8th seed. But it's a whole lot better when you're able to control your own destiny. So in this search and destroy, at least for Atlanta FaZe, they love to just fast plant a majority of these rounds, play for the 4v4 retake. And that is where Florida needs to make sure that they're matching that aggression. You have to make sure you're not giving up these free bomb plants, because you know Atlanta FaZe have premium setups. And also the guy that I'm really looking at is Major Maniac. This is why they brought him to this team, so they can show up in search and destroy. Ever since he's entered this roster, their S&D has been a lot better. But when you're playing against Atlanta FaZe, who throughout stage 4, that was their mode where they were dominant.
And take a look at these numbers. I mean, the early on discussion for Atlanta FaZe was, okay, they can win hard points, they can be dominant and respawn, but S&D continued to hold them back. And I want to say it was around Pro-Am, it was around Major 3 where they really dove into this game mode and started to see a lot more success. And you see the KDs there. I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, aBeZy, Simp, Arcitys, they're doing well, but you got a guy like Cellium who is doing that. You gotta point it out. It's unbelievable.
That's the backbone of this team, man. He's the guy that's gonna get you out of a lot of these situations.
And that's overall, my bad. I was thinking that was S&D, but
no.
That's
overall in this
stuff.
entire
that is overall. Still, dominant in search and destroy as of late. And those numbers, I'd imagine, aren't exactly the same, but I guess without knowing officially, I'm just assuming Cellium is probably #1 for Atlanta FaZe. I think it's a safe bet, Jay. Pretty
Definitely
safe
is.
bet.
Definitely is. But to talk a little bit about this map for both of these squads, Atlanta FaZe are the #1 team on the defensive side, and Florida are the #2 on the attacking side. So this is going to be a battle. Both of these squads, they really find success on fast plants. 60% for Atlanta FaZe towards either side, and 70% for Florida.
Well, we got to see him play about an hour and a half ago. Did Florida versus New York. Lost it in a 6-4 fashion. And as you said, it really came down to New York's mid-round adjustments, starting to figure out what the Mutineers like to do. A great start to Simp, is able to fire through the first. Does some great damage on whoever was hiding out in the back alley. I want to say that was Major Maniac. Lives to see another day, or at least a few more seconds. Florida, despite being a man down, have got Too Real in a very interesting spot.
Yeah, they're just ready for this push, but Major Maniac at least makes it a 3v3. They don't know the positioning of Too Real, so he's going to get a freebie. Now in the 3v2, you can potentially plant this bomb, because both players from Atlanta FaZe do back down. aBeZy's all the way across the map. Down to 2v3, Atlanta FaZe, 45 seconds to work with.
And it looked like somewhat of a peculiar spot for Owakening, given the timing and given how everything had worked out, but he goes toward top 3 to try to hold off what would be the cutoff over at Plat. Atlanta FaZe weaken him and decide to push on in. Too Real, first line of defense. Could be greeted soon. aBeZy hunting, searching. Where could they be? Too Real found out after getting down that bomb. Major once more coming through hot, and Owakening will strike 2. Mutineers, despite dropping that first blood, get the bomb down, back up, play the numbers. They take our first.
And it was all about the positioning right there from Too Real, because Simp, he gets that first blood. Major Maniac evens it up and make it a 3v3. But you see Simp, he has no idea that he's already pushed up towards office window. Gives him a freebie, they get the bomb down. They play the time, they clutch the round. Florida already up 1-0, but now it's time for Atlanta FaZe on their attacks. Love to fast plant towards either site. This time it's looking like it's gonna go towards B.
And that's what we talked about Florida. They gotta be ready for it. They gotta be eager to counter. Sky's great first blood. Cuts down Cellium, and that will instantly slow down the aggressive push that we'll look to see be a common theme throughout this Berlin. But aggression once more established, and Major is there to find a second pick, a quick 2v4 for Atlanta.
Now, if you are Atlanta FaZe, gonna at least spot one player, get some shots into Owakening. Not able to finish that kill, but Arcitys slowly working his way up towards that A site. Does he find Too Real in this corner? Taking his sweet time, he gets the stun in, he's just gonna go for the challenge. Great play from Too Real, now Simp in the 1v4.
Yeah, just picture perfect round of S&D. So far from the Mutineers, Simp gonna lay down the lead at least a bit. Major Maniac does fall off the spree, so at least somewhat of a negative for the Mutineers, but that seems to be just about all. 9 HP and a dream as Simp will fade away and drop. Great round for the Mutineers, Jay. I mean, really all the way around.
They just find that first blood onto Cellium. Already put themselves in the man advantage, and then Major Maniac knows the play that aBeZy is trying to execute. Takes him down, forces it to a 4v2. You play your numbers. You close out the round. Florida up 2-0. Atlanta FaZe need to make some adjustments.
Last time around, it was the first blood for Atlanta, but Florida didn't really mind all that much. Got the bomb down at A, and nothing eventually was done after that. 2-2 split on the defensive side for Atlanta as TuReal goes roaring into that B site. Never be too careful. Players could be on either side of this Docks building. Tagged up, but not dropped as of yet. And there goes the nade. Perfect timing out of Atlanta. Meanwhile, Arcitys has found himself on the fast flank. Awakening's going to be here for one, but he has one more player left to deal with. Atlanta down in numbers, players spread, and a bomb that they've got to defuse.
And that was Simp trying to work that late flank with Arcitys, but once he gets taken down, he has to wrap back. Setting him at least spots Major Maniac in towards the bomb with 30 seconds. It'll be a tough retake to try to execute. Simp finds that first, makes it a 2v2. Potentially be a manageable play for them.
Simp drops. Awakening in skies. Great position for them to be in. Cellium, despite honestly leading probably in that MVP conversation right now, being one of the more talented players that we've got in the game, and one of the most difficult positions to be in when it comes to Vanguard. The bomb down for Warehouse. Best of luck with the time remaining, and that is 3 straight for Florida.
Just a great round once again from Florida. They trade that first blood, make it a 3v3. They catch the player that's going on the flank, and then just keep the numbers in their favor. Skies finds himself on a 4 spree, Awakening on a 3. Atlanta FaZe need to figure something out. They're just getting picked apart one by one.
We love you, New York. You guys are incredible. And to round 4 we go, and the fast plant from aBeZy, TuReal, is going to be very surprised as he sees that bomb go down, knowing that he is not alone in this office, but here he is. Able to drop aBeZy for the first. A common theme that we're going to see continue to echo throughout this search and destroy, but the bomb has been placed down, and TuReal's waiting on the reinforcements to arrive. The trades still favor the Mutineers overall, and TuReal is doing this one by himself. He's got the call. Mutineers know exactly where Arcitys is hiding, comes away with one, but it will not matter. Skies on 5 in a row, and TuReal handles business. Now make it 4 straight for Florida.
TuReal is just switching up corners at any site that he's currently at. Puts himself in a great spot. I think if you're aBeZy right there, once you get that bomb down, just try to get out. Don't be aggressive towards that top plat. Use your tacticals, at least give up your positioning. Because no one checks office. You do not check office. You allow TuReal to take over that round. Finds 3, and also Skies is on a 5 spree. So if you're Atlanta FaZe, this is where you need to stop the bleeding. It's a big defensive round because Florida, they're playing with a lot of confidence.
You gotta kill Skies, but you just gotta kill Florida. Like, you gotta get around to the board. You cannot go down 5-0 versus the Mutineers. Get the hype going the other direction. With that control up next that we know could absolutely go either way. Now 6 in a row for Caesar. Major will find the other, and now it's a 2v4. Now make it a 1v4. What is going on?
Atlanta FaZe simply do not have an answer. Major Maniac, he's going to challenge it onto aBeZy. aBeZy has 9 health. Everyone's going to collapse, and that's 4 up, 4 down. Clean round from Florida Mutineers to now put themselves at game point.
And I feel like, Jay, this SD has just got Major Maniac's name written all over it. I mean, we talked about the amount of struggles that the Mutineers have suffered when it comes down to search and destroy. This being the mode that they have had problems with. Despite being a top 4 respawn team in the game, they couldn't have those consistent results. We said they needed that S&D mastermind. They needed that in-game leader. And right now they are doing it versus Atlanta, despite being off of that 3-0 loss just an hour ago versus New York. They have turned things around and now are putting Atlanta FaZe on blast here on Berlin. And Major's pulling out the SMG. He's got the 40 out, looking for 2. The first blood granted for Florida. And really for FaZe, can you just get anything? Can you find a pick? Get the numbers in your advantage, for God's sake.
A lot of time to work with. Simp is going to be able to pick up that bomb. They know that multiple players are playing towards this B side, but do they know the positioning of TuReal? You cannot decide to wrap this back towards A. You're going to have Simp being aggressive in towards B. Probably gonna have a huge engagement going on, but it's gonna be Skies just taking his time, bomb down.
Skies is right here. When's he gonna strike? What is the time? Too real, great kill. On to Arcitys. Cellium, they're really just trying to hide out. Be careful inside of the warehouse. Time continues to tick away, and it's gonna favor Atlanta. As long as they can stay alive, last player is going to be Skies. 18 seconds on the clock, and there you go. It only took 6 rounds, but you finally got one on the board. Long way to go, Jay. Long way to go.
Definitely a long way to go, and you have to keep in mind that Skies still has that glide bomb in his back pocket. So if you are Florida, your play call right here has to be strictly go towards B, get that bomb down, use that glide for information, and then force Atlanta to try to retake it. So Atlanta FaZe, get 1 round on the board. Gonna send 3 players over towards A, and this potentially is gonna work out a complete blind counter.
For 5 in Awakening, does watch the cross, gonna give that information over to the team. Another first blood given to the Mutineers. Skies continues on his run, continues on his dominant Berlin streak. And after finding that pick, Mutineers looking to get extra crafty, but take a look at player 2 and player 3 from Atlanta FaZe. They are reading this. They're aware that a rotation very well could be inbound. Here comes the glide bomb right when Atlanta reveal their positions. That's when they strike. Perfect call from Florida and Cellium in a 1v3. A prayer is all that he really has going for him. Giving this one to the man upstairs. 30 seconds left. MC. This one is done in a commanding response from the Mutineers as we have got ourselves a series.
Just beautiful plays from start to finish from Florida. They start off with early aggression, they get their bombs down, they get multiple first bloods as well, but I think the most impactful player in that search and destroy had to be Too Real. The amount of times that he was able to break the setup on Atlanta FaZe when it came to his positioning, changing up the corners in towards that A site, and then even being aggressive when Atlanta FaZe were going towards B through trains. They just took a lot of map control away from Atlanta FaZe. They could not slow down the pressure, could not slow down the aggression. Skies and Too Real, the guys that really just stepped up for Florida Mutineers to now make this one a series.
And that's just, I mean, comes down to the roster change. We're talking a lot throughout this S&D about Major Maniac, and then obviously you bring up the point about Too Real, the 2 recent additions for this Mutineers team. They have been criticized heavily, right? They've been criticized so heavily throughout this roster change period, losing players like Vivid, losing Dave Patty. But in that moment, you saw them go big when the roster absolutely needs some life. Those 2 are able to deliver and now bring us to a 1-1 scoreline heading into this Tuscan Control. We said it's all going to come down to the Kavutu, but hey, Jay, does not go that way this time.
I don't know, man. It wasn't going that way. They just came out and made the adjustments from the series that they just played an hour and a half ago. Dominant search and destroy from Florida Mutineers. They have to continue that on going into this control.
Yeah, they absolutely have to. It's a 1-1 game. We weren't for sure if we were going to get to this point, but the Mutineers strike back in the best way possible. As we said, it's a massive series, whether it's for Pride or whether it's for the top 8 placement. Mutineers, it could be their final series of the season, and they are giving it all that they've got. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come back after the break, we are headed to Tuscan Control.
Fantasy League is brought to you by Mountain Dew and Zenny. Armor your eyes with Blocks gaming glasses starting at $24 by visiting zenny.com/CDL.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the final series of the day. We are indeed running on fumes. It's been a wild weekend so far of some good old Call of Duty Vanguard, but we are ending it out in a strong way. Atlanta FaZe taking on those Florida Mutineers. It's a big series day, and we find ourselves in a 1-1 scoreline, and the Mutineers taking Atlanta FaZe down in one of the more dominant S&Ds we've seen this weekend.
Yeah, that was flawless search and destroy from Florida. When it came down to their play calls, when it came down to the rotation on sites, multiple first throws from them, I'm pretty sure it was 5-2 in favor of Florida. So they just dominated that one. So that map right there can provide some momentum for this team. The only thing is, you're playing Atlanta FaZe on Tuscan Control, where they are the #1 defensive team. And if you are Florida, you just have to make the adjustments that you didn't make versus NYSL. You cannot give up 2 ticks of aggression when it's 4 lives remaining.
It's like a 4v14 or something.
It was not good. They cannot allow that to happen. They're fairly strong on defense as well, sitting at 3rd overall on this map. But it's all going to be about the attacking rounds. Atlanta FaZe 3rd overall on attack, and then compared to Florida, who are 8th in the league. So if you are Florida Mutineers, this is where you could potentially shut down everything, because FaZe on this map so far this weekend are 3-0 undefeated. Not really easy team to take down. We watched them yesterday versus LAG. They had the fastest attacking round I've ever seen all year.
Well, we'll see if they'll be able to do it. We talk about momentum. You got it when it comes down to the search and destroy. But if we're going to continue to sell the underdog story, if you will, Mutineers coming into this, you need to take a respawn, right? You need to take a respawn. Know that you can take this team down. As here we are, into the game 3, Tuscan Control. Mutineers starting things off on attack, and it's a great perspective to look at here off the rip. The man dropped 40 kills in that last Tuscan Control versus New York. Granted, still saw the loss, but Demon Joe showed himself on Tuscan earlier. We'll see if he makes a return this time.
Right now, Florida just doing the easy work. 3 stacking towards this A point, trying to extend this time. They have 2 minutes to work on, simply only for that B point, but Atlanta FaZe, they're not gonna give this one up. That's 2 in the feed. They're gonna be aggressive. 1 player on the flank. It's gonna be Simp. Wins a huge one-on-one versus Major Maniac, and now no one is there on that A point. They were gonna transition over towards B, but now they have to wrap back and complete that A segment.
And that's just such a great call from Atlanta as well. They are a team that we've seen previously in the league that allows for those A captures to go unscathed. Mutineers think, hey, everything's clear, everything's good. Right when they think that, that's when Atlanta strikes. Great plays all the way around. Mutineers eventually do break out of their base, and they've got Major Maniac, the scout, pushed on forward. At least able to find 1 for his troubles. In the meantime, that A capture does go down. Another minute added onto the clock, and they've got 3 players established inside of the field. Now make it 2.
An Awakening, he might have found an opening. Gonna have to win a huge engagement versus aBeZy, but Rack back, gets the spawn kill onto Cellium. Now the double challenge is gonna come in. aBeZy, great shots to back them both down, but on the opposite side of the map, Atlanta FaZe still have full control of P5. You're gonna have Major Maniac just trying to play it slow, but Slip gonna be the cutoff man.
Cutoff man indeed. Trades favor the Mutineers, at least for the moment. They've got 3 players surrounding this B zone, and Turiel, he's got a flank in mind, knows that somebody's gonna be toward the tank. Oh my goodness, somehow does not win the fight, but at least his teammates come away with the majority of them. No tick still to speak of. Major Maniac and Skies back to back. Inside of this objective, Simp slides on through, able to walk away with the first. 1 tick captured, and at least you can be happy with that if you're Florida. A great couple kills go their way, and they're rewarded for their efforts.
That's a big tick from Florida. Now 13-13, make it 12-13. As trades are going back and forth, but Cellium with the beams onto Awakening. That's gonna be 3 down. Last player closest towards this point is gonna be Skies. He's just gonna wait for his teammates, try to get back into this play, but Atlanta FaZe is still maintaining map control. Skies wins a huge one-on-one. Now you just have to hold this position.
Very valuable spot to be in. 2 players. Oh my God! Over at P5, and aBeZy just absorbs all the bullets. And Turiel's gonna be gifted 1. He does have a few teammates around him. Florida have been doing a great job of constantly having 2 and 3 players near each other. No real solo challenges. And that has benefited them for why they've got the tick that they do. But final push is about to happen. TwoReal goes hunting for somebody toward the bottom. No information found. TwoReal off a spawn and 10 seconds on the clock.
Right now, Atlanta FaZe is just controlling top flat. Got Cellium sitting on the head glitch. He finds a two-piece. But TwoReal, he does find two, so they're able to get on this point. Only one player left. It's going to be Simp towards TJHaly. You have to try to line up some teammates.
You do indeed, and that second tick, oh, it's just moments away. It's moments away. Nades falling at the feet of everybody, and Atlanta dodge a bullet. That round looked to go their way regardless, but that second tick would have been huge. Had the Mutineers been able to get it, could have very well decided who has defense for round 5. If it goes that way, of course.
But even if you're Florida, you're still happy to at least have that one segment at B completed. So now that puts them up by 4. Atlanta FaZe need to respond here. They're going to be all out aggressive towards the middle of the map. They're going to try to go for their B push. Owakening does find that first blood. aBeZy with the trade. But you see Simp just going to take his time towards P5, knowing that one player is going to attack from that angle.
Is that a let's go FaZe chant that I hear?
I think haven't heard that in a long time.
I think a champ spot may or may not be on the line. Some great work off the rip from Florida. Their defense holding somewhat nicely, but Simp with a nice little highlight kill over at P5. Sky's looking for the same. Pulls out the rat-tat-tat-tat. Cuts down Arcitys in Atlanta. Given the map positioning, decide to head over toward the other side of the map. They get dealt with back to square one.
Right there, the tiny terrace. Call some mayhem at B. It opens up that 8 point. Now, if you're Atlanta FaZe, you can start to get this time up, but Owakening on the pinch. Owakening on the pinch, he's able to find 2. So now if you're Cellium, you have to get off that point. Owakening is trying to find him. He's not able to win the gunfight. But still, a lot of map control right now for Florida. They have roof control before aBeZy does win that gunfight. Last player on this 8 point is going to be Sky. They take him down, and now this is where you can start to stop that clock, eventually extend this time.
It was great work, though. I mean, it's solid strategies out of the Mutineers. It's near impossible to hold the attacking team off of getting that A zone. It is good work in the end, as aBeZy does get dealt with over at P5. And with that, could they go for one last contest? Player 6 is tempting at it. Major Maniac falls, and Atlanta now with a bit of numbers. Keeping things in mind, bottom left side of your screen is Atlanta rush on forward. Owakening could hit a very, very important flank. As they'll enter into the fight, Simp does get taken down, and their long route from Big Wake works out perfect. Cuts down Atlanta, and another push is now on the cards.
That's going to be 2 down. You have map control if you are Florida, but the push is going to come in, the team nades come in. Everyone trying to set up for that first blood. TwoReal at least gets the trade. Florida coming out on top, so now Simp in a great position. Cellium finds a second, so now if you are Cellium and Simp, you just want to stall time for your teammates to get into the play. You can win gunfights even better. Simp and Cellium combined for 4. They allow their teammates to get into the play, and the first tick is about to be complete.
This is where things start to get scary. Arcitys being the thorn in their side or the back side of the spawn. Skies eventually cuts him down. That's 1 tick. It's now going to be 2. Atlanta take the lead. When we talk about the objective, and they're continuing to see success, Cellium takes down his own teammate. It's punch after punch. And aBeZy eventually does get cut down as well. Atlanta FaZe still have got some presence here. And when you take a look at that life column as well, Jay, that could be a problem for Florida if they're not careful.
Yeah, they can start to slow this game down if you're Atlanta, because you can turn it into TDM. Simp finds 2. No more respawns for Florida. 40 seconds. Gonna be able to get on this point. They have plat control, but it's all about this slaying. Simp finds another. 3 players remaining here for Florida. Major Maniac finds a kill onto aBeZy, but 7v3, able to stabilize for now.
And if you're Atlanta, you do have some time to work with. Play this like search and destroy. Arcitys falls, the first line of offense. aBeZy, a great slide on the TwoReal. 2 players alive, and now it is all on to Major Maniac, a 1v6, and he is dead to rights. Florida come through with a solid attacking round, and Atlanta answer back with a perfect attacking round. Up 2-0 already.
It was all Simp and Cellium. Look at what Simp is doing on the map. 20 and 8.
Oh my goodness.
They were able to find all 4 kills by themselves at that B point. So eventually start working that progression up. Now they find themselves up 2-0, the #1 defensive team on this map. All they have to do is just do what they've been doing all year long, and that's hold strong.
Yeah, that's hold strong, that's dominate, that's slay. Any characteristic when it comes down to killing. Atlanta FaZe live by the mantra. First hit already through for Florida. Owakening trying to get aggressive, trying to get his troops going when it comes down to this game. The Mutineers, no pun intended, need to wake. They need to awaken. And honestly, they need to get somebody on a spree. Right now, Simp, he's finding his way toward the flank. Player number 8 is going to be the first line of defense to cut him down. And he doesn't find it. He does not find it. Florida, regardless, are able to get that tick on forward. But nonetheless, you can just see the wheels turning for FaZe. They want to get aggressive. They want to get in the base. aBeZy now for 5 of his own.
Now that's everyone of Florida. All spawn, having to overextend through this field side because of the positioning of Simp pushed out towards P5. aBeZy with the nade. At least slows down the aggression. Skies finds one onto Arcitys. Cellium, he's going to be the guy watching field. He's able to take down the first. He knows that multiple players are going to attack. He's just going to back down, regroup with his team, rotate over to the opposite side of the map and play for that plat control.
Guys trying to play this one careful, but of course, it's Simp again to strike. 22 and 10, having himself a map as the Mutineers continue to strike out on their attacks, and the time continues to get away from them. They've got multiple opponents, not just Atlanta, but the time continues to come in as well. A few kills toward the front, but Simp, of course, it's him again, tries to make the play in the flank. He gets red, and there you have it. The Mutineers, they've got a bit of control. Plays toward the outer alley as Skies. He puts his reticle in that location, looks to re-challenge, looks to re-engage, and he'll take it. aBeZy for 1, but the Mutineers still have presence.
Florida right now, they're winning the trade battle. They're about to be able to complete this first segment. 2 players from Atlanta FaZe trying to attack this from top green. Cellium with the opening, Cellium with 2. Now only 2 players left in a position. It's gonna be too real. He finds one before he gets taken down. So with 40 seconds left, Skies knows he has to slow this game down because it's potentially their last push from them. Atlanta FaZe just have to hold for 30 seconds more.
Only 30 seconds more. In the midst of tossing out the utility, Arcitys does get dropped, but aBeZy hungry for aggression. Like a shark smells the blood, but Skies tosses out the nade. Again, Mutineers, you're looking for the opening. And who knows, maybe they just found it. And Owakening goes forward, but take a look, there was nobody outside of Florida who was there to join alongside of him. Somewhat of a staggered push. They've already got 1 tick to go, 2 more left, but 11.5 on the clock. Pause for the moment, and 2Real does have an overwatch. Skies with 1 angle, Major with the other. Owakening trying to cause a few issues inside of the base. Some great work up to this point as the hill, the zone, the gunfights, Atlanta FaZe, the timing is working out for them. Skies will fall as well. The point is clear, and Atlanta FaZe come away with their 3rd straight 3-0 win on Tuscan. It has been the fuel to their elimination bracket run so far. Paris fell victim, LAG fell victim, and now Florida do as well. Atlanta FaZe reply back again, and now find themselves up 2-1.
Atlanta FaZe just made the plays. Even on their first defensive side, they were able to hold strong, only force Florida to get that 1 segment complete. Then when they go to the attacking round, it was all on Cellium and Simp. Simp had himself a map, 24 and 14, 19 non-traded kills, but right alongside Cellium with 26 and 16, 23 non-traded kills, almost 4K damage. Is that? No, almost 3,100 damage there from Cellium, but that was just a clean control from them. Once you secure an offensive round, you're the #1 defensive team on the map. You're gonna be able to get results like this. Now, if you're Atlanta FaZe in a commanding lead up 2-1, going into a Tuscan hardpoint, that's usually their bread and butter.
It absolutely is, man. And again, it's a very scary sight for whoever could be facing off against Atlanta FaZe throughout the rest of this tournament. If Atlanta FaZe, end up going on forward, as we said, that's at least 4 straight wins on Tuscan Control. More specifically, it is 3 straight 3-0 wins. They've won their last 9 rounds in a row, not including the one that they won, which I think was like a round 5 earlier in the tournament. It has been their map, it has been their mode. I tell you what, man, Simp has been turning it up to a new level in Major 4. He did it at the qualifiers, and he has his map here. We talk about Atlanta so often. The talent that they have is unbelievable. And it's just one of those shining moments right there where we see that 1-2 combo of Simp and Cellium have themselves a highlight reel type of game.
And even though aBeZy didn't pull up the best numbers, just the positioning that he was taking on the map. Whenever he needed to find that 2-piece to shut down a push, he was able to do so. So now Atlanta FaZe up 2-1, gonna go into this Tuscan hardpoint. Atlanta FaZe are last in rotation win percentage, but they are #1 in break percentage. Florida are 4th on rotation and 8th in break. So if you are Atlanta FaZe, all you have to do is just give me some kind of fundamentals. Make sure that they get themselves to that P5 nice and early, because I feel like every time I watch Atlanta FaZe on this map, always goes down to a 3rd rotation at P1. They fight scrappy for that P5, but then cannot execute a break on P1. So it's all about the fundamentals. If you're Atlanta FaZe, #1 breaking team on this game, last in rotation. If you have those spawns, you're able to hold strong. And every time, if you're going to force Florida early off the rotation, you're going to be able to break it. So just play for the spawns on this one.
Yeah, and talking about fundamentals, it was great to see the love and the support, obviously, for Coach Crowder coming into what could be the final map of this series. Hey, you know that guy pretty well. I want to ask you, I mean, if you're in Crowder's position, what are you saying to the guys right now on the stage?
Oh, I'm not saying anything. These guys tried. I'm like,
not a single
listen,
thing.
You guys are the best in the game. You guys know exactly what to do in this situation. You're going into a Tuscan hardpoint. Just make sure you're winning your rotations. You guys are obviously winning your gunfights. Let's just keep the teamwork going.
And I will say, not to be the bearer of bad news, but at times it's weird to say, Atlanta FaZe, hardpoint at times can be their weakness. So far, it's been their weakest mode. When we talk about Major 4, we talk about the qualifiers, they technically did have that negative record. And sometimes it does come down to the over-aggressive plays. When they had an earlier series versus Seattle, I think it was an opening hardpoint on Tuscan, Simp went back in the comms and said, guys, I was playing a little aggressive. They went up so dramatically in the series. They got a little too overconfident, and they allowed for Surge to come on back because of that over-aggression. And Jeff, you're a team like the Florida Mutineers, potentially with your last series, your last map of Vanguard in front of you, you're going to take advantage of every single little mistake that Atlanta FaZe could make.
You definitely are. Florida's tournament lives on the line on a map like Tuscan. You know, it's all going to be about these SMGs. Too real. He is the guy that needs to step up, or at least match the energy of Simp and aBeZy. Him and Owakening, they have to be those guys early off the rotation, winning their gunfights and properly setting up. If you're Florida, you have to give everything that you have into this map to try to force game 5.
You got to give it all you got. Into the Tuscan hardpoint we go. What could be the final map of the day. After what has been a historic CDL Saturday, do we have another incredible ending to speak of? And it's aBeZy quickly on the flank. Nobody even knew he was here, but he strikes early and he strikes hard. A quick 3-piece nearly for the 4th breaks things open for Atlanta.
Give them all 3. Atlanta FaZe, even though spawning on the good side for this P1 off the rip, able to set up that pinch and now get this time uncontested. Another 3 down in the feed. 20 seconds left. Now you're forcing Florida to slow this game down, start to back up, play a little bit safe for these spawns, but Simp not going to slow down. Super aggressive, him and aBeZy towards top church.
That is a scary sight to see these two in tandem together. We talk about the rookie. Hands about to be full. Decides to challenge toward P5, but they have no presence. They don't know that there was somebody making their way through radio, a common angle. Really for the attacking team that is trying to make their way forward across the map. And Atlanta FaZe slide right on in. Owakening position is going to be known. And off of that 2-piece, it does lighten the load ultimately for Florida. Great shots coming in from Major, who's pulling out the 40 from time to time. Trying to go toe-to-toe with some of the more aggressive and scarier players that we've got in the league. Mutineers finally put up their first few seconds, and it's been a solid hold up to this point.
Yeah, they have a lot of map control right now. They're just forcing Atlanta FaZe to tunnel through that top plat. Disguise is able to find Cellium. He's here for the trades, and Atlanta FaZe, even though they were able to flip those spawns, Probably not the best time to do that. They're able to break the hill, get this remaining 20 seconds, and once again force Florida on the early rotation.
And Atlanta FaZe are basically tossing the conversation over to Florida and say, okay, we're gonna give you guys the opportunity to hold, but can you contain us? Can you contain the dominance that we know Atlanta FaZe has got brewing? They're hungry. Can the Mutineers lock this one down? It would be a great hard point to get them back into it. Nice early pick. Cellium does hit the deck. It's a nade over the top. Simp looks to strike. Owakening there to read it, but the utility is still there. Atlanta advance toward the front. They've got Arcitys locking things down behind the fountain. Gets taken down by the nade, but Atlanta are still here, ready and waiting.
Spawn still here for Florida. Final 30. You have to get yourself on this time. At least cut the deficit at the lead right now that Atlanta FaZe do have. They're just playing to keep them off of this hill. You have that player in arches towards that Vines area, which is Cellium. He stayed alive this entire time, just trying to be a nuisance. Final 15 seconds. Florida should be able to pick this up, but Cellium's not going to give this one up for free. He gives that kill to Major Maniac, who's now on a 5.
A great little spree there out of Major. Magic Mike, does he have something left brewing? Can he rally the troops back? A great little streak for him. We'll keep eyes on him. Keep tabs on him, rather, as he looks to help the boys get through church. Last time around when we saw Florida play on Tuscan Hardpoint, they allowed for New York to get a full 60 at this Church Hill. And right now, based off of that first attack, it looks like it could go the exact same way. Crucial pickups from Atlanta across the board.
Atlanta FaZe is holding strong, knowing that Florida are going to have to try to flood through the front. Pressure is going to be here. They're able to get on in. The Atlanta FaZe just going to take their time. Unfortunately, Cellium can't win that one, and that's going to be a clean 4 dead. Florida execute the break. Now with 20 seconds left, it's going to be Cellium, at least off the rotation. He gets taken down by Owakening. Atlanta FaZe still going to play for this chunk time.
Awakening has made some jokes about the SMG lately, but I'll tell you what, I love to see it in his hands, and I do as well for Mr. Skies. Now on 3, we said Florida needed the break. They struggled with that hill last time around versus New York. And they are able to lighten the advantage now as we head in toward P5. Prepare for what is going to be ultimate chaos. Nades, utility toss, as Florida look to take the bombardment that is about to occur. Arcitys looks for the early flank as both teams headbutt into the objective.
Trades going back and forth, but Awakening's able to come out on top. Skies with a big kill onto aBeZy. Florida, so far with a great hold, are able to take the lead in this game. You are Atlanta. You have to break this. You cannot give up all this time, knowing that you're going into this P1. Sky's going to be aggressive, but Arcitys finds the kill. Arcitys finds 2. That's going to be 3 down. Last player in the point is going to be Skies. Arcitys going to go for the challenge, not able to win it. It's too real. Able to find 2, finds himself on a 3 spree, and that was a flawless 60 from Florida. Now gives himself a hefty lead.
And much needed at that. 2Real starts to go on a spree. The cushion killer eventually hits the deck, and now we prepare for the second set of rotations over at P1. The Mutineers have taken the lead in this game, and let's step aside and see how the comms are sounding with the boys of Florida.
No, he's on me. He's on me. He's on me. He's on me. He's taking. Nice. One.
Yo, close 2. Ar's on you and there's on you.
I'm named as you. I'm your
Ar's on you.
outside right now. Yo, my taking There's 2 there, 3 there.
Yo, on me. There's 2 hill. No on you. He went to your side. He went to your side.
You go easy. Make sure you go red.
I'm named back, okay?
No be Alex. Fix himself.
He's over now. One second. I'll be
He's on you.
Yeah, we'll pinch.
He's on now. Oh, dead.
Nice.
What's up?
Alex back blue chuck. Go stay out. Empty. Watch me.
He's on the blue chuck right now. Top himself.
Oh, no, he's out. Oh, shit.
Alright,
Alex.
I'll smoke close church.
Yeah,
He's out there. Watch out.
Go
Go top church. Stay out, Mike.
Since back
What's he pitching you?
Back archers, run at the back.
Nothing pitching me.
He hit the back.
Yo, he's up to like, behind the boxes in the hill. I need it.
Hit the back.
I'll kill boxes.
Yo,
Back radio. We have push it up X-Bones.
A great little check-in there with the Mutineers. You hear the sense of urgency. You hear the passion in their voice, recognizing how important every kill, every second is on the map right now. They do contest for the moment, but ultimately Atlanta FaZe lock things down. 20 very valuable seconds left here at the column.
They were able to dominate that P1, and then Arcitys was that huge gunfight to win the rotation. Atlanta FaZe have able to blow this game wide open, gonna put themselves up by 50. Now forcing Florida. Try to slow this game down. They cannot allow Atlanta FaZe to contest them the way that they did the first go around on P3. You have to get some time off of this to get yourself back into this one. aBeZy finds the first, but multiple players here from Atlanta FaZe. They're gonna try to flip these spawns, take control of top roofs.
aBeZy comes up like a slingshot, jumps on in, and the Mutineers continue to fall by the wayside. They've got 2 players in the back of the base. One player actually spawns toward the well. That was Major Maniac. He finds one toward the flank, joins alongside the rest of the group. aBeZy nearly shoots at his teammate, for God's sake. It is all out chaos over at the fountain, but the trades continue to go the way of Atlanta. They are taking bodies left and right, but as the dust settles, the close spawns will pay off for Florida. But Jay, they gotta get in the hill.
They have to get some time because Atlanta FaZe is just doing a great job of just keeping them off of this hill. Now it's Cellium turn through that binds area. Final 15 should go in favor of Florida, but this is once again Atlanta FaZe winning a rotation over towards P4. Gonna have Skies. A little bit of teamwork from him and 2Real, trying to flip these spawns, trying to be aggressive towards the back. It's gonna be on aBeZy, the cutoff man.
A massive moment. What could define this game is gonna be the flank. That's going down right now between 2Real and Skies. aBeZy, does he read it? Finds 2Real for the first, and Skies at least is there for the trade. Can he rely on the teammates to win the gunfight from the front? No, he will not. Atlanta clear things out again, but Florida do get the close spawns. 4 bodies who are very motivated to get inside a church come knocking, sliding through the pews. It's 2Real to take down a few. 3 fall, and Florida somehow, some way, given the advantage, take every single bit that they are given.
Now, if you are Atlanta FaZe, you have to rotate over towards that P5 because Florida were able to execute a great hold, but they're going to send 3 players through field. aBeZy finds the first. Arcitys with the trade, but it's still Florida coming out on top in that situation. They're able to get this remaining junk time, and 2Real going to be the player off that rotation. Has a huge one-on-one versus Simp. These gunfights are so crucial right now.
Big 1v1. Simp, aggressive as ever, jumps inside of the point. He wants to take 2, and he'll do that. Florida, only 1 man left in the objective, and he will get taken down as well. An open hard point in spawns that are red from Atlanta, taking them down in stride. Oh, Cellium eventually drops, but they continue to win the engagement. A few more seconds, and this one is done.
Atlanta FaZe making the run through losers. A scary match versus Paris Legion. A clean 3-0 versus LAG. And they come in and get the 3-1 versus Florida Mutineers. Send them home packing. No more tournament for them. But now if you're Florida, such a devastating loss. Knowing that your champs gonna be in the hands of someone else.
Terrifying.
Very, very scary situation, but Atlanta FaZe, they made the adjustments on the second half of those rotations. They were winning a majority of those rotations towards every single hill. And it all came down to that P5. Once Simp pops that 2-piece, aBeZy finds the 3rd. It was all left up to Major Maniac with the map positioning that Atlanta FaZe had. They spawned them all the way across the map. It's very difficult for Florida to try to get in and contest that time. Atlanta FaZe staying alive in this tournament. Make it to the top 4 championship Sunday, and now have a date with OpTic Texas.
Oh boy, that is gonna be a fun game tomorrow, but we still gotta reflect on what we just witnessed. It's time to take a look at our scuff play of the game, and we are taking a look at aBeZy. It is a very scary opening off the rip. Jay, Atlanta FaZe look to set the tone.
So right here, Atlanta FaZe, they're spawning on the better side. So you're just thinking everyone's gonna flood towards the point, but no, aBeZy, the aggressor for this Atlanta FaZe team, sets up the pinch, shuts down that push from Florida, finds all 3, and Atlanta FaZe were able to get 40 seconds off of this P1 uncontested. The SMGs came to play for Atlanta FaZe. they close out the series, and they make it to tomorrow.
They do indeed, my friend, and my goodness as well. A scary sight if you are the Mutineers. You go to bed tonight wondering, was that the last series that we just played of Vanguard? New York just needs one more series victory, and they get that final spot in top 8. I'm sure this New York crowd was thrilled to watch what was just on display. Atlanta FaZe takes down another team on the bubble, but that is going to do it for us on the stage. It is Blaze, joined by aBeZy.
Thank you so much, Lando and Study. As you can see, Atlanta FaZe has done it for the New York crowd. My guy, what a series this was. Now, you guys took map 1, but map number 2 was really rocky for you, but you regained from map 2 forward. Tell me about how this series was and how y'all came out on top.
Yeah, the second map was just rough. I think they played the map very well. Like, we just got, like, they just outplayed us, honestly. They just played super well, and you know, I mean, the rest of the series, we just played really well in respawns. Like, our rotations, everything. Like, we were playing our lives when we needed to, and it was perfect.
The teamwork looked immaculate, okay? And so now, all season long, you guys have gotten nothing but second places. And here on the loser bracket run, do you think you can get it done today? You got a few teams left. You got OpTic tomorrow. You got LA Thieves and Subliners up there. But I know you want to chip before champs. You think you can do it?
I definitely think we can do it. You know, I think we're pulling it together at the right time. So, you know, if it can all click, then for sure.
And I know this season you guys haven't gotten much cheers, but do you got anything to say to this crowd who has shown so much love to you all weekend long?
Shout out to the crowd. They've been absolutely insane. Like, seriously, you guys are absolutely insane. Thank you so much for all the support.
All right, aBeZy, it's been a pleasure. That does it for us here on the stage. Valley, send us home.
Arcitys is your daddy and he's my daddy too, but also all of the Florida Mutineers daddy. Atlanta FaZe moves on and the Florida Mutineers are officially eliminated from Major 4. Ali, top 4, you got New York, LA. Like, this is absolutely insane. OpTic FaZe?
I mean, it's picture perfect, right? Especially for the New York fans and Atlanta FaZe. I mean, if there's one thing we know, they're going to make it to top 4, make it probably to top 2 as well. But I will say, that was kind of a prove-it series for me when it came to Atlanta FaZe to get back to their fundamentals. And we really saw it in that Tuscan hardpoint. Usually you see your Slayers pushing 30, pushing 40 to win that map, especially on the side of Florida Mutineers. Usually Big Wake is dropping like 40 on that map.
True.
It was such a low engagement game, and for me, it was the fact that Atlanta FaZe slowed everything down. They made their rotations. They were playing objectively correct on the map, but Cellium still manages to find a way to come out with a 1.44 KD.
All right, and that was against Florida, by the way, who has a great amount of ARs on this squad. But let's recap the day because it was something phenomenal. Bryce,
prior to this, I just heard coming up, Bryce, when I have a hot take, and I asked him what his hot take was, and he would not tell me. So before we get to the recaps, let me hear.
Bryce, can we put it on his one, please, Bryce? What is his hot take?
Fine, I have to be the one to say it. Mutineers have not been good enough to make champs, and if they make it, it's through luck rather than performance.
Oh, okay.
That's the simple fact of it is. It is no longer in their hands. They got lucky that Boston doesn't know how to do the vetoes, and being perfectly honest, getting that far and getting 20 points at this major was a surprise to me. They no longer can say that they made champs at this major through performance. They will make it based on whether New York turn up tomorrow.
And I respect it.
I agree, save for one player. I think Major Maniac has been playing out of his absolute
Waking Skies.
Being added to this roster. I love Waking Skies, don't get me wrong, but those two players on the same team for me just clearly is not working. They are so good in their respective roles. We make jokes about them being main AR squad all season.
Yes.
It just hasn't been working. I mean, like Bryce said, it's been kind of through luck at this point, and now they fall to the Atlanta FaZe, and now luck is not on their side because the New York Subliners is still in winners and is looking to play spoilers. They have put the work in, they have put the roster moves in place, and they're looking to make their run.
Listen, I love it. Hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and recap everything, and then we're going to break this down even further, okay? The first game of the day was a big one, and it was nothing but green. OpTic Texas took on V Boston breaching Nameless. OpTic went on a crazy run today.
I mean, just some absurd maps, I mean, throughout this series as well. I mean, we think about that game 4 where you see Scump go rogue, get the final kill to end it out. I mean, that was just beautiful. The Tuscan Search and Destroy. We saw OpTic come to life and Search and Destroy once again, a game mode that has sort of been up and down for them over the course since they brought back Illy, and now it seems to be back in that sweet spot. After that match is really when they started to get the ball rolling, and the Search and Destroy clutched up in round 11 against the Toronto Ultra. Like, that is the game mode they need to be elite in, because right now they are still making blunders across these series. There's a couple mistakes that they had in the control, that they had in the first Search versus Toronto, but if they can clutch it up when they need to, this is a team that can continue to make this run.
And speaking about clutching things up, we got a guest at the desk right now, Crimsix, but hey, check this out. The game field tactical play was Illy's clutch in round 7
here, guys.
to sit on the map point. It was absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's really bright.
I got a question for you. Here. Come closer to Mike.
Let me ask you a question.
All right, so in the back, how stressed were you watching this match after that game 2?
What? This one right here?
No, the one that the Florida versus Atlanta.
Oh, not stressed at all. I talked to Arcitys. He said he's got it. aBeZy said he's got it. You know, I really want them to hate me because I play better when there's passion involved.
Okay.
You know, beef, right? And I can't dislike them, you know? And they can't dislike me either. So, you know, I said, yo, get this for me. I love you guys. I'll give you 5 subs, whatever.
A little something.
And they got us. So it's Simp and aBeZy, you know, and Cellium. Speaking of which, I played like Cell today.
Hey!
There we go.
Yeah, Crim absolutely killed it. But hey, we're going to jump into that very soon. But first, let's jump into the Los Angeles Thieves as they went against the Toronto Ultra. But yo, Bryce, the biggest surprise this event is the fact that out of all the teams that we've seen this event, the most dominant one happens to be LAT.
Yeah, they came out swinging, certainly. There have been questions asked about this roster all the way through the year. And it must feel cathartic. JCat stopped moving the chess pieces around this year, and somehow it has paid out. They have caught fire, and it says something. It says something about the theory of coaching these teams. Put them in a position, if you've got players who are willing to work hard, settle the differences, and fix their mistakes, you can find results. The armchair GMs want to drop a player every map. Well, you're wrong. You're wrong, and this is the proof.
I mean, these guys, they've worked through it all, right? And they have had the pieces since the beginning. Their players people calling for roster changes out of this team. Well, they say, no, we're just going to make a role change. And then, you know, when they made that role change, it wasn't working out. Well, now the proof is in the pudding. These guys have been going off. Kenny has been popping off as well. The Search and Destroy, they're getting 6-0 victories. Yeah. These guys are beating some of the best Search and Destroy teams in the game on their best map, Double Berlin. That is so impressive about LA Thieves. They look incredible.
Well, let's move on to NYSL versus Florida as well.
And we got to talk about it. Like, New York Subliners, this not only obviously was a big win for points for winners bracket, but it was in a 3-0 fashion. Their first matchup was a grueler Game 5 reverse sweep, and that is scary when you're a team trying to make a run like this. And like Crim said, he put on an absolute show today in this series, and he's going to have to continue to do it. And the higher the pressure rises, the more we're going to expect out of this player.
And I mean, just like for New York, just some of the cleanest hardpoint we've seen all year. I mean, with how mixy hardpoint can be in this game, they somehow manage to like slow it down in their own way. Like they hold a hill so wonderfully, and then they still break the next one. We saw the P2 into the P3. It's just unbelievable on that Tuscan, and that's why New York's so special. But the other team that is looking that good in hardpoint is LA Thieves, which is why our winners bracket final is going to be insane.
Yes, but you know what else is insane? I don't know what's in the air or what's in the water in Brooklyn right now. But this event has been something amazing, okay? It's not the prize pool of the Race for Champs or even, you know, the legendary story of Crim trying to make it all the way to win the event here in his own hometown-like state. It's the amount of doppelgangers that we've had, okay? I don't know what's going on. We got a fake nameless. We got named. We got Crim 7. We got High Top. Look at that. Look at Scammy in the middle right there. I don't know what's going on, man.
We saw a J-Cap doppelganger as well. I saw Chancey pulls out his phone. He goes, yo, it's G-Cap. I was like, dude, this is what universe are we in?
No, like, that literally looks just like
that nameless one is scary, dude.
That's terrifying.
Genuinely
I would
horrifying.
never wear those glasses, and I would never have my hair hanging out the front like that, okay?
Oh,
the beard.
The
beard is clean, though. I got to shout out my bearded
nice.
brother right there.
Hey, his hair is off the chain, too. But ladies and gentlemen, check this out as well. Make sure you join us all in Champs, because event after event, there's one thing we all have to acknowledge. Things are getting drastically better this year. Toronto was my favorite event this year, and then next thing you know, we're in New York, and now I can't wait to see when we go to LA.
Bro, this takes the cake right now, right here in New York. Every single event has gotten better, but Champs, it's going to blow the roof off. It's going to be absolutely insane. I mean, you're seeing these matches here, how nutty they've been. Champs can only be more chaotic, and it's the end of our season, man. I cannot wait for that.
Well, speaking of chaos and all that, let's take a look at the points in the CDL. Bryce, you gave us a hot take about Florida Mutineers, and now their lives, when it comes to Champs, are in NYSL.
That's terrifying.
Hands. One game.
There is a silver lining for the Mutineers. There is a silver lining for the Mutineers, right? They no longer have control of their fate. The problem is that Subliners have to take down some Titans. Thieves look glorious. OpTic have returned, and of course, the tiny terrors on Atlanta FaZe are standing in their way. The truth is, while Subliners need one win, that one win is against 3 of the best at the major. It is difficult, it is never going to be easy, and that's what Mutineers will be watching tomorrow.
And I have to say this outright, the top 4 for this event is exactly what my power rankings would say, baby. Los Angeles Thieves, NYSL FaZe, and of course you can't forget the green wall. Let's take a look at the schedule. Oh, I mean the bracket, sorry about that.
Can we just say this, like,
go ahead.
How terrifying it's going to be for the Mutineers tomorrow watching these matches. Like, I would literally be sitting there clenched, sweating. They're just going to be hoping for the absolute worst. It's going to be so tense in this venue in that LA Thieves and New York match.
I'm going to tell you, if I was on the Mutineers, I would take Too Real's pillow and just put it over my face, man. I wouldn't want to watch anything at all. Ali, look at the bracket. Now we have 4 teams left.
Come on, Val. You know exactly what I'm going to say. To be the best, you have to beat the best and beat everybody. So yes, it is terrifying. FaZe and OpTic are in that losers bracket, waiting for whoever loses that LA Thieves and New York Subliners match. But at the end of the day, New York is coming out to do what they have wanted to do. They have made a championship caliber roster, and now they need to beat everybody to prove it and get their spot at champs. So I'm expecting to see a different type of fire out of that team tomorrow.
Once again, the best storyline in esports that I have ever followed. But let's follow this along together, right? Let's take a look at the schedule for tomorrow. Bryce, I don't think my body's ready for this, man. How are you feeling about this? The first game of the day. Woo! Wow. New York and LA Thieves.
I'm not ready.
Well.
Take your time, buddy.
It's an interesting one. The Subliners, obviously, the fairy tale story is the glass slipper waiting for them as Prince Charming picking up the phone. I don't know. LA Thieves look glorious, but they've also looked weak at times. That is definitely a coin toss, in my opinion. I would be worried if the Subliners lose it, because finding a win against OpTic or FaZe is also going to be incredibly difficult.
I believe.
It is a horrifying situation to be in, and the funny thing about this is if Subliners had won their last map on the qualifiers, they'd already have qualified.
All right, Nameless, Ali, both of you just take it. Any last words you guys got to say?
Get me to tomorrow. Yeah, I just seen that schedule. Get me to tomorrow. I can't wait.
Right, Ali?
He said it.
Yep. All right. There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, get us to tomorrow. We're going to lock this desk down and close it out, because we're going to head home and try to go to sleep as fast as possible, because tomorrow is the day that we have all been waiting for. It's Championship Sunday. Take a look at the venue, King's Theater, and tomorrow we're going to crown a king, but who's going to come out on top? LA, New York, Atlanta, OpTic, Texas, we have no idea yet. But check this out. New York, they have to win outright, because in front of them are the Florida Mutineers. NY just has 1 game to go. If you lose, you relinquish your spot at champs to the Mutineers. If you win, you're gonna join the greats for the biggest event of the year. You don't wanna miss it. We'll catch you guys tomorrow for some more Call of Duty action. I love you so much, and thank you for tuning in. Tomorrow is gonna be a blast. See you there.